Snacks and drinks were strewn about around the couches and scattered among the circle of people on the floor of the common room. Looking around, you could see a wide range of expressions plastered on everyone's faces. Embarrassment, regret, anger, sadness, excitement, and a few neutral but worried ones. You were feeling pretty much all of these emotions at once, and your heart felt like it might explode as Kaminari placed the hat in the middle of the circle. Maybe you could get out of this by passing out. You'd laugh about it if it wasn't something that could legitimately happen. You checked your phone absent-mindedly to try and disperse these rapidly approaching feelings of nervousness, until someone to your left nudged you with their elbow. You ignored it, trying to focus on some sort of game on your phone, but it wasn't until they nudged you a second time did you turn to look at them. You perked up, seeing it was just Ochako, and realized that she was trying to get your attention. She offered you a smile and turned her gaze towards someone across the circle. You squinted at her, not being able to follow her trail of thought. It suddenly clicked after a few moments, and you slowly looked in the direction her eyes were leading you. You squeaked, catching none other than Todoroki looking at you. His eyes met with yours, but you immediately broke your gaze to look back at your phone. You heard Ochako snicker by your side, and you wondered if it was too late to cop out of this. A hat was shoved into your face a moment later, and you gingerly took one of the folded pieces of paper inside of it. The hat was passed on as you unfolded the paper to reveal the number 1.
Son of a...
You were going to have to go first, which meant you would have the greatest opportunity to be stuck in a closet with someone you didn't feel like sharing your personal space with. Groaning, you pinched the bridge of your nose and glanced over at Ochako, who was busy talking with Midoriya. She hadn't looked at her piece of paper yet, leaving you to sigh and fiddle with the corners of yours. Suddenly, Kaminari spoke up to briefly go over the rules with a smug smile on his face. You rolled your eyes.
Okay, which pair has number 1?
He asked to the circle of 1A students. Your heart practically jumped out of your chest when you saw the jewel-haired boy across from you raise his hand. Swallowing hard, you raised your hand as well, leaving your classmates to coo, wolf whistle, and make whatever other noises they thought fit to make. The words unspoken mutual attraction could sum up your relationship with Todoroki pretty well, but you didn't know if he liked you. The two of you were a mess with each other most of the time when placed in the same group. However, he was calm, cool, and collected, and was too aloof to really notice your cheeks dusting with pink whenever he was around. So while you walked with him to the appointed closet, you couldn't help but notice that he was as calm as always. All you could do was nervously trail behind him, as the two of you plus Kaminari made your way towards the hallway closet. Kaminari opened the doors and revealed a mass of coats that hung within the small space, making the closet look even more crowded. He opened his hands out towards both Todoroki and yourself with a grin.
Phones, please,
he asked. The both of you reluctantly handed over your devices before he placed them into his pockets.
Have fun, you two!
Kaminari then shoved you into Todoroki. With a squeak, you crashed into his back, the tall boy bracing himself against the back of the closet to prevent any injury before darkness engulfed the both of you. Amidst the sudden shock, you found yourself with your arms wrapped around Todoroki's body, your face against his solid frame.
Sorry,
you squeaked.
Kaminari shoved me in.
You scrambled to make space between the two of you as quickly as you could, stumbling back and hitting your head against the door with a thud. For a second you could have sworn you felt the essence of your soul escape your body, as feelings of embarrassment washed over you. "Did you hit your head?" Todoroki asked. You heard him shuffle around and could barely make out his face in the dark.
Yeah, but it's not anything bad, I promise.
You laughed lightly, trying to break the awkwardness. You turned to the doors and with a push found them to be locked from the other side.
Well, we can't really do much about it now.
Silence fell between the two of you for a few moments, which made you acutely aware of just how loud and fast your heartbeat was. You didn't have much time to wonder if he could tell if you were nervous before you felt a hand gently press against your head. You turned to find your face close to Todoroki's, now able to see his eyes from the small beam of light through the doors. "Are you all right?" he asked with his attention to the crown of your head.
I'm fine. Really.
You answered sheepishly, hoping that the dark would hide the blush that crept on your face. "What are we expected to do in here?" he asked. "I don't understand the concept of this game." With his face close to yours, you could feel his breath upon your skin while he continued to inspect the top of your head for injury. You really didn't want to explain what the game entailed. It was already embarrassing enough that you were sharing your space with him.
We could do whatever we want for 7 minutes,
you explained vaguely.
but usually people make out.
Todoroki's eyes turned to yours with a blank expression. "Make out?" he questioned.
Well, only if you wanted,
You quickly quipped.
We don't have to. We could just wait out the 7 minutes until Kaminari lets us out. And even then, it's not a rule that we have to anyway.
The heat in your cheeks was unbearable. Why did you have to explain the game that way? "All right," piped Todoroki, as he leaned back into the opposite side of the closet and made himself comfortable. "We'll wait." You felt a sigh of relief as Todoroki made some distance between himself and you, despite the space in the closet amongst the coats. A moment of disappointment did pass your mind when Todoroki suggested to patiently wait out the 7 minutes. However, spending this time with him was good enough. You both sat in silence for the next few minutes, biding your time. There was no topic for conversation as you noticed Todoroki looking to his watch every now and then, probably watching the time go by. Did he really want out of this closet that badly? Of course you did too, but it only fed into your thoughts that maybe he didn't feel the same way you did without asking.
Hey, has 7 minutes passed already?
You inquired.
It's been a while since we've heard from anybody.
"We've been here for 15, Todoroki answered calmly while looking at his watch.
Wait, what?
If Todoroki was able to see you through the dark, he would have noticed the incredulous look you pulled on your face.
If you knew we've been here longer than 7, why didn't you say anything?
"I assumed Kaminari was also keeping time," he responded. You turned to the door and knocked, hoping that someone would hear. But after a few minutes of doing so, there was no reply. What felt like hours passed by, and you wondered if the others were doing this on purpose, or if they genuinely had forgotten about the two of you locked in the hallway closet. That alone seemed like a preposterous notion. Both Todoroki and yourself eventually sat on the floor with your legs cramped against each other. There was no other way to comfortably keep each other's space, but making makeshift blankets from the coats helped a little. A draft swept into the closet from the cracks between the doors, causing you to hold your legs tightly against your chest to keep what little body warmth you could generate. Suddenly, a bright flame flickered in the dark, lighting the closet and bringing warmth to the chill. Todoroki's hands were cupped between the both of you. A small flame danced within his palms. "Here, hold my hands," he instructed. You cautiously cupped your hands around his, feeling the warmth spread into your fingers and palms. It was a welcoming touch, and with your cheeks flushed, a small smile crept on your lips. This was the first time you held his hands. It wasn't exactly how you imagined it would be, but it felt much more than what you expected.
Thanks, Todoroki,
you mused.
I'm guessing it's past curfew now.
True, he agreed. But we'll need to find a way out, or find a way to last the night. This is only temporary.
The both of you looked to the flame in his hands, its light sculpting both of your faces. You looked to Todoroki's eyes and noticed his concentration in keeping the flame dimly lit, yet warm enough for the both of you. He looked to be serene while doing so, and you wondered what was going through his mind. There wasn't a lot of conversation or chit-chat while the both of you were stuck in here, but it felt like a comfortable silence now rather than the awkward start of this venture.
I have something to confess,
murmured Todoroki, breaking the silence while his eyes were still focused on the flames. Just as much as you felt his warmth, your face felt like it was on fire. Your ears burned and your heartbeat sounded like it had gotten louder inside your ears. Did he say what you thought he said?
Yes,
you stammered. There was a pause from Todoroki as he gazed into your eyes, while the small flame flickered, causing a gleam to cross them.
I know how this game works,
he admitted.
This is my first time playing it though, and for what it's worth, I don't regret being here.
You looked to him confused, yet oddly suspect of what his next words were going to be. His eyes on you were focused, and yet they were sincere.
I rigged the game, so that we were the first to be chosen.
What? You questioned.
No one else knows, except for Midoriya and Uraraka,
he continued.
I asked them to hold off everybody else, so that I could spend some time with you.
Todoroki spoke slowly as if he were trying to carefully choose his words to explain. Still with your hand on his, you felt butterflies in the pit of your stomach.
I realized that I have feelings for you,
he admitted, the words slowly and softly spoken from his lips. He leaned in closer to you, still with his hands holding onto the flames to keep the both of you warm.
Will you be by my side?
You felt your heart beat inside your chest harder and faster, and you didn't know how to respond to his forwardness and frankness. Without hearing a response from you, though, Todoroki's eyes slowly turned away as if he had suddenly lost his edge. In a panic, you released your hands from his and reached up to his face to kiss him. The flames were immediately doused as he raised his hands away and tensed his body to brace yours, surprised by your sudden move. After a moment, you pulled away from him, finding that your body laid atop his in the cramped closet.
"I'm sorry,"
you exclaimed.
I hesitated,
You scrambled to get yourself away, but Todoroki immediately grabbed your body and hugged you into him, his hands still warm from the flames he held earlier.
It's all right,
he reassured, laying his lips atop your head.
I'll take that as a yes.
The comfortable silence returned as he held you close, his body warm against yours. You melted into his embrace and allowed yourself to relax into his chest as you fell into a deep slumber. When morning came, you found yourself curled up against Todoroki with a few coats covering you like a large blanket. Your head was laid on his arm, while he propped his on a few coats like a makeshift pillow. Even through sleep, Todoroki was still a gentleman and had given most of the warmth to you. It was the sound of the closet door opening that piqued your attention as you turned towards the bright sunlight. Midoriya stood there, his finger pressed to his lips as a signal to be silent. Confused by the boy's intentions, you watched as Midoriya looked back and forth in the hallway before he leaned over to Todoroki to stir him from sleep.
"Wake up, Todoroki, before Aizawa finds the both of you in here,"
he whispered. Todoroki's eyes fluttered open as he turned to Midoriya by the closet door. Midoriya then pulled out both of your phones from his pockets and handed them back.
"Come on,"
he pepped with a smile. You turned to Todoroki, who looked down at you with a gentle smile himself. You returned it with one of your own, now with reassurance after last night's events.